Okay, so we have we have some new gear from DJI for the Ronin 4D that we're gonna open. So starting with the most interesting accessory, this is the Ronin 4DFlex, and I'm gonna open it in just a second because this is actually really cool. We have the new servo lens from DJI 17-228T3 lens, and we also have an L mount adapter to be able to use Lumix lenses on this camera, which is actually pretty exciting stuff considering that Lumix has that entire set of small lenses like the one that's on here right now that we can easily balance on a gimbal. So let's get to the most exciting part in my opinion. Ronin 4DFlex, or as I like to call it, the snake. If we open this up, this accessory. This allows you to take the gimbal head off, attach it to this part, and then connect this part to the brain of the camera to be able to put a small gimbal into compact spots, which is so exciting. It is so easy to install, and you can even attach the hand grips on the side and the monitors so that you can even use this as a little like separate, smaller and lighter gimbal. You're like, well, that's cool. Where do I put the brain of this camera? You can buy a separate designed backpack where you can put the brain of it and then have the cable coming out of the side. And now you can kind of work like a remote gimbal operator. You do lose the Z axis, which is the benefit of using this system right here, but you're actually saving a bunch of weight, and it's also a smaller, more compact sized camera. The first thing that came to mind when I saw this system was like, I want to put this in a car. I want to put the gimbal, attach it to the windshield, attach it to the outside of the car, and just get amazing tracking stuff within a car, because normally when you try to do this with any other camera, it's just too bulky, but this allows you to put it into so many smaller, tight spots, which I'm really excited about. We're gonna put this gear to the test with my friend Martin Wojtnach, who is a professional commercial cinematographer, and I want to show him the product for the first time, get his reaction, and see what he thinks as somebody who works in the industry, because it's a very, very interesting product.
Martin. I'm influencing. Am I doing it right? Hello. Let's see it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh. Oh.
Part 2.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, look at this lens.
Yeah.
Oh!
Let's get creative with it.
All right, let's go.
So for this first shot, we really wanted to test out using the backpack system and then attaching it to a monopod so we can go from a low angle shot to a higher shot and then tracking it with lighter weight. So here is our final result of getting our first shot in our car sequence right here. Took this a step further and I actually got together with my friend Josh Yao from Make Art Now, and we actually connected our two cables together to make an even longer cable on a longer pole. So if you want to go check that out, I will link his video right here. Now, while Martin and I were on set, we really wanted to try to take advantage of this smaller compact form, and one of the ideas that Martin had is he's like,
it would be really good is if we can get you getting into the car and I start in the front dash and pull completely out through the entire vehicle.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Now, obviously we didn't have a ton of stabilization in terms of like the weight, because he's literally holding it from the back of the car and pulling it through, but we actually put it into slow motion, which saved the shot. But this is what I'm talking about. This type of camera, you couldn't normally do that. If you were trying to hold the Ronin 4D and try to pull it back, you'd have to have some sort of contraption. You literally put the sensor on the gimbal, you can pull it through the car. I think this creates so many opportunities for such fascinating, unique angles that we would normally not see in cinema with a camera like this. Now, before we see the rest of the equipment in action, I would like to thank this week's sponsor, and that is Artlist. A couple months ago, I was on a call with one of my clients. It's actually Kia, the car that we're shooting right here. And one of their most pressing questions was, is the music that you're gonna use in the content that we're producing commercially available to license? I was like, don't worry. I have this website that I use. It's called Artlist, and I can use any song on the website for commercial use with the license that I have. And on top of that, I can find any song I want pretty quickly because I can sort by mood, genre, beats per minute, and they even have a find similar feature. So let's say you send a song to a client and they're like, it's not bad, Chris, but it could be a little better. Literally click find similar, and you're gonna have a whole set of different options that could work for that client. And that's why I've had a Creator Pro account for the last 5 years, because anytime I need to license a song for a commercial project, I use Artlist because the music is actually good and clients are happy with the results. The music that you've been listening to in this video is from Artlist, and on top of that, they just launched Artlist Academy, which means that you can learn from all of the top creators. Now, this is something that is available for free for a limited time. So if you sign up for an annual subscription using my link below, you're gonna get 2 months for free. So click that link in the description and explore all of the options that could work for you. Thank you, Artlist, for sponsoring this week's episode and supporting creators all around the world. Now, one of the most obvious shots that I wanted to try out, because I like to do car reviews and this is something I want to do in the future, is suction cupping this camera setup to the front windshield so I can shoot the passenger and or the driver.
Yeah, it's just big. So it's not a competition. What's gonna be better for the shot?
No, it's a competition.
Just mount that like that. That's so cool.
Now this is really nice because you can remotely control the gimbal even with the monitor and the wireless monitor setup. So we can have somebody in the back, they can pick the frame, they can even use the servo zoom to pick a close-up shot or go wider and go in between the 2 actors if you wanted to. Now Martin was even saying that,
I wish I had this camera 3 years ago when I did my movie, because we did this crazy car shot where we snaked through the car on like a gimbal.
Yeah.
And I really wish I had like a small camera that I could put like small primes on and stuff like that to work around actors. Instead, we had like this airy mini that was like snaking through the actors, and it was inspired from Children of Men, that Alfonso Cuarón movie. And it's like I hung track upside down and like a Movi, and it's just like this would have been so much better if I had this like 3 years ago.
or you can even put it to the windshield like we did to get a shot that looks like this, which looks so good, especially with this 17-28. Like, this lens is so sharp. It has rock solid focus. Like, I'm actually genuinely so impressed with this DL mount lens. This shot that you're seeing is very much inspired by Top Gun. Now, if you guys don't know, in Top Gun, they had the Sony Venice where they were able to take the sensor off of the body, be able to put the sensor close into the windshield of the cockpit of the plane, and then have a lens on it. So you have a cinema camera essentially being able to get into a compact form to be able to get unique shots. So this is what this shot was inspired by. Now, I mentioned earlier that they have this L mount adapter. Now, this might not sound super exciting, but because Lumix just recently announced this set of primes that they have that are super lightweight, all f1.8, it allows you to be able to put them on a gimbal like this and swap them out very quickly without having to do too much recalibration. And with that set, you have an 18, a 24, a 35 mil, a 50 mil, and an 85, which makes this way more versatile. So I think I'm gonna use this setup way more than I ever thought because of this new L mount system. Again, because of the small form factor, we're able to mount this to different parts of the car and just have the, didn't actually attach the GPS unit, is the gimbal was getting a little wonky from time to time because it was getting some vibrations. So with a system like this GPS unit, you're gonna get more accurate and more stable footage. But like, look at this. I don't have to hang out of a car anymore. I can just mount it using the basic iFootage mounting kit and be able to get shots that I'm really happy with. This is going to be a game changer because I want to do car reviews on this channel moving forward, and we can do that with this setup. If I'm being honest, I didn't really get a lot of use of the Ronin 4D after we made that video about a year ago. This system was more of a, making a feature film or a mid-level production setup. But now with these new accessories, with a servo lens that is very, very sharp, I now have access to all my L mount Lumix lenses, and I have this flex system. I think this whole kit with all of that stuff is gonna become way more desirable because this is one of those things that I think not a lot of people might go out and purchase for themselves, but people are gonna go out and rent this to get unique shots. And I actually really enjoy the DJI workflow, especially when you have the high bright monitor and the video transmission. It's such a great ecosystem, and I'm very impressed by this entire setup. And I think personally, again, this is just what I think this is something that I would like to use more of moving forward on this channel. If you guys like this video, please press like. It actually makes a difference. Subscribe and hit the bell to be notified for future videos. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed this.